we are taught that civilization began in the fertile crescents of Mesopotamia and the Nile. A story of humankind's slow ascent from hunter-gatherers to city builders. But what if that story is incomplete? What if, long before the pharaohs ruled Egypt, another sophisticated cultura, lost chapter in the human saga, rose and fail in a place we now consider one of the most desolate on earth? This is the story of a discovery so profound that it does unjust add a new page to our history books. It demands we tear the first chapter out and write a new one. A vast ocean of sand. The Sahara Desert is a realm of stillness, and the wind is the only consistent ruler that can be found there. For decades, archaeologists have endured its harshness in order to discover traces of a more verdant past. These indications include fading cave drawings of hippos swimming in ancient riverbeds buried under dunes. On the other hand, what a group of people headed by the insatiably inquisitive Dr. Aris Thorne has recently discovered is something completely unprecedented. There is no hint here. Rather, there is a conflict. Ground-penetrating radar has uncovered a building that is located under the changing sands of the Sahara Desert, at a position that is so remote that it seems like it may be found on another planet. Carbon dating reveals that the construction in question is not only a simple town or a burial mound, but rather a large, complicated, and terrifyingly old edifice that dates back 10,000 years before the present. There is more to this archaeological site than meets the eye. In the past, the Sahara was a green paradise, a green Sahara consisting of expansive grasslands, lakes, and monsoon rains. This time capsule is a time capsule from that ancient age. In this context, we are referring to a period of time that occurred prior to the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, Stonehenge, and the very first brick in Mesopotamia. Since the beginning of civilization, this building has been around. An ascent towards the daybreak, the first excavation, which included the tedious task of sweeping away millennia's worth of accumulated sand, was given the name Project Oasis by the crew. What appeared initially were not boulders that had been rough-hewn, but rather megaliths of a dark, volcanic rock that had been polished flawlessly and were not native to the nearby region. Rather, from being organized in a haphazard fashion, they were arranged with a terrifying geometric perfection. The building is not a residence in any sense. There are no indications of hearths, nor are there any relics of rubbish from the past. As an alternative, it is a huge, concentric structure consisting of standing stones, low walls that produce exact astronomical alignments, and underground rooms that, as one member of the crew whispered, seemed more like a cathedral than a camp. It is the Solarist's chamber that is at the center of the mystery. It was the discovery of the middle room, which was concealed behind a big stone slab that was perfectly balanced. That was the moment that really stopped their hearts. Inside, the air was eerily silent and dry, which was unsettling. It was not a bare wall situation. They were covered with a series of stunning petroglyphs that had been profoundly etched. These petroglyphs were so sophisticated in their craftsmanship that they defied the timetable of the human creative ability. On the other hand, they were not only illustration of animals and hunters. A narrative was recounted by them. A precise star chart is shown on one of the panels, and the constellation Orion's belt is located with an incredible degree of accuracy. A other one displays a complicated calendar system that not only keeps track of the sun and moon, but also what looks to be the periodic flooding of a river that has been gone for a very long time. The panel that is the most eerie has a group of stylized human figures approaching a center stone that resembles an obelisk and casts a definite shadow. The figures' arms are outstretched, but not in a way that suggests they are praying. Rather, they seem to be participating in a ritual that is being orchestrated. As Dr. Thorne spoke, his voice was hushed with amazement. "This is not the work of nomadic hunter-gatherers stumbling towards civilization," he said. "It is the task of architects to create this. This work was produced by a culture that had already achieved a high level of expertise in astronomy, engineering, and an intricate social system. We have to refrain from referring to them as prehistoric. The two of them had a past. We just almost lost it. The strange occurrences that cannot be explained, the tangible objects that were discovered inside the room only serve to further delve into the mystery. Certain stones, when softly touched, emit a low, resonant hum that appears to resonate throughout the whole edifice. These stones are collectively referred to as the resonant stones. Acoustic engineers are perplexed, and they have hypothesized that the room may have been constructed as a resonance chamber, either for participation in auditory rites or even for the purpose of amplifying certain frequencies. A sliver of sunlight penetrates a precisely carved opening in the outside wall, goes down a tiny hallway, and lights a single spiral carving at the rear of the center chamber for exactly 7 minutes. This is the celestial alignment. It occurs on the morning of the summer solstice. The amount of astronomical and architectural understanding that was necessary for this was something that we did not imagine existed 10,000 years ago. Scrapings taken from a center stone that resembles an altar have shown indications of a crystalline mineral that has not been seen elsewhere in the geological records of Africa that are currently known. Who or what was the source of it? Is the origin of the item a mystery that has been lost to the desert, or was it really exchanged from an unthinkable distance? The implications: a whole new beginning to the story. The landmark, which is now being referred to as the Whispering Stones of Tener, compels a comprehensive rewriting of the history of humanity. During the same time when the previous ice age was coming to an end, it is suggested that a sophisticated society known as the Proto-Saharan civilization was thriving in the center of a green Africa. It was not enough for them to just survive. They were also watching. It was a construction site. The fields of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering were the tools that they used in their quest to comprehend their cosmos. Their university, their temple, and their cosmic clock were all included inside one building. Just what took place with them? The sands themselves could hold the solution to your question. The Green Sahara started to disappear around 6,000 years ago as a result of a change in the climate. There was a gradual drying up of the lakes. The grasslands turned into dust, and the winds started their laborious and methodical process of burial. This society, these master builders of the dawn, most certainly found themselves dispersed by the desert, their wisdom forgotten, and their entire existence wiped from memory. They became the ghost that haunted the simpler societies that would eventually emerge along the Nile and the Euphrates. It is no longer accurate to refer to Dr. Thorne and his crew as archaeologists. They are investigators working on a hot case that dates back 10,000 years. The removal of each individual grain of sand is a piece of evidence that points to a fact that is far more deep and exciting than we could have ever imagined. The civilization in question did not possess a single cradle. There were many dawns in it. The first, long-lost light of one of the very earliest is just now starting to shine through, and we are just getting started. After much deliberation, the Sahara has made the decision to reveal its most astonishing and ancient secret.